Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today with a quick little update here, actually from the Marvel Strike Force folks themselves, because they did actually announce on the actual YouTube channel that the next steps for Age of Annihilus, but they're also doing a cool little mini series this week where they're going to be releasing a video every single day, as you guys may have seen already. So I'll link that video below in case you're wondering what it's entailing, but it's giving us kind of a quick sneak peek in terms of what's coming up next for Marvel Strike Force, the new Age of Annihilus. If you recall, even last year, they announced Age of X shortly after Mephisto and the declaration of Dark Dimension 7 as well. So just in tune and as on time of what we would typically expect this time of the year, because they always want to build up that hype and momentum for into the build up for next year and obviously everything that follows. But what is really cool in the video is that we got some sneak peeks and kind of hints of what's coming in terms of an announcement this week, but also some pretty big overhauls from what is originally mentioned by both Pathfinder and as well as Ryan Jacobson, the GM for Freetoplay and Marvel Strike Force 2. So guys, make sure you check it out. It's a really good video just to kind of give us a sneak peek, but I want to talk about real quickly what some of the points in the video were and some items that you can look forward to if you don't want to watch the full video. But again, there wasn't really a lot of information disclosed, but there were a lot of Easter eggs and teasers. So first and foremost, in case you guys don't know, with Age of Annihilus, and the reason I have Fantastic Four shown here is because he is actually in fact the Fantastic Four villain, one of the most powerful villains that they've ever faced, and they're trying to tie things with Fantastic Four because we know with the MCU there's a new movie that's coming out this summer, but remember, they're gonna play a really important part with how they go up against Doctor Doom for the next movie following, the next Avengers movie actually being Doomsday. So obviously they want to tie that in to the IPO here in terms of making sure that everything is coherent, the stories and narratives of Marvel right now, and building that momentum and hype together, right? But does that mean there's going to be some big reworks coming for Fantastic Four? Some of these characters have already gotten some recent patch ups and updates. Mr. Fantastic being part of Illuminati. Invisible Woman was recently added to the Mighty Avengers team, so she got a bit reworked there. The Thing, before that, he's part of the New Avengers too. So these three characters have actually been touched up in some way, shape, or form for the last year, with the exception of Human Torch. You can see his classifications and his traits are still very straightforward. Still just part of the OG Fantastic Four team. Cosmic Bio Blaster, right? So could there be some big revisions for Human Torch as well as the rest of the team? 100%. But also recall some of the recent changes that they've made in the game as well. If it hasn't been reworks, it's been adding like another version or variant of that character in the game, right? So I think the most obvious one here is Thanos Endgame. He is an absolutely formidable character, but instead of changing the original Thanos in game, they added a variant here being Thanos Endgame, right? So that's why if you guys are thinking that this is the go-ahead to start investing in Fantastic Four, I actually would recommend against it, because we should wait for the confirmation of what's coming in terms of new teams and whatnot before we invest, right? Having said that, another really cool announcement that they actually did do was the announcement of there's in tomorrow's video anyways, it's kind of what we're expecting, is that apparently there's going to be an announcement of all the new legendary characters. Now, I don't know if that means they're going to announce every single character for 2025, but there is going to be a mention of this. Ultimately, how they're going to be achieved, maybe it's going to be very similar to how we obviously took advantage of Shadow King and Old Man Logan, the trials that came for them in the last year. So that's definitely exciting for sure. They also talked about a little bit more on what worked, what didn't work for Age of Apocalypse versus Age of Mephisto, and obviously now we have Age of X actually starting in just a week here. So pretty exciting times, but I think they want to touch on this because Apocalypse was very successful. And the fact that this kind of success didn't really translate to the success of Age of Mephisto, and hopefully Age of X is going to be better as well. But yeah, I think it does sound like they're listening, and they're going to be taking in that feedback that we've seen. And one of the biggest complaints was pigeonholing yourself and building up teams that you needed to absolutely require. Remember, I think there was like 16 teams involved, or 16 or 17 teams actually needed for the entirety of all the different if you think about the Scourges that came, if you think about the sagas that came, and even the original Strike characters, there was a lot. So I think they're taking in that feedback to allow more autonomy for players, to give us more options in terms of being able to obviously use them as a way to, you know, build your roster, but not feel like you're forced to build something that you don't need just for that character unlock. So that's definitely going to be something to be on the lookout for sure. And then last but not least, again, these are little teasers. We don't really know what that means yet, but there is mention of a huge overhaul coming from the store perspective. If you guys have been following my channel and you know, like, just look at the resources I have right now: power cores, gold, my campaign energy, my ISO 8, everything. I'm in hoarding mode because, well, there really isn't a reason to spend it right now, right? So the same can be said for some of the stores. The Blitz store needs a massive overhaul with all the items that and orbs that we've saved. Raid store is probably one of the better ones because of these new Spotlight Raid orbs, but even then, really, we're just focused on the Armory 20 coming from the Chaotic Storm raids. Aside from that, Arena store, huge overhauls needed there. War store is dated. It's nice that they've added some of these Awakened materials to farm up. Some character shards here and there for Cosmic Crucible, which was one of the newest stores, but now it's still crazily outdated. Battle World is one of the newer ones, but even then, I'm really just using this for ISO 8 purple. Not really using character shards here, right? But yeah, that is going to be very interesting, guys. So I agree. I think that ultimately here, it's going to be nice to get some welcome news on what's going to be happening here for the store, for the currencies. Maybe they're even adding a new store entirely so that we can convert some of the free, you know, the hoarded resources that we saved up and be able to leverage that in a way that's meaningful for us. But yeah, I mean, all in all, there's going to be videos, they said, almost every single day this week with a Q&A at the end of the week. So that's going to be interesting to cover for sure. But yeah, new legendaries, guys. I think tomorrow's going to be the big one. They want to build hype up for sure. There can be some really cool character announcement tomorrow. Maybe even the announcement of Onslaught, right? We kind of saw that in the, not Dana Mines, but Boilan first previously, you know, showcased that there were some leaks here and there of that. And we still haven't got that Dark Descendants team getting announced here yet. So that's going to be very interesting to see that. And obviously building hype here with Age of X and whatnot. So yeah, that kind of in a nutshell is what's happening, guys. I will link that below if you want to check it out. It's a really quick video, short, not a lot of information, but a lot of good teasers and kind of heads up on what's coming up or what's gonna be announced, and I'm pretty pumped for that. So definitely exciting time for sure, especially with Professor X himself right around the corner, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are you a fan of? And is this happening too fast? Is there too many updates right now? Personally, I'm a big fan of change and obviously liking to grow my roster and seeing those challenges come along the way. So thank you for your time as always, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.